I'm making this video because I feel like it's long overdue, and I also feel like this video may reach people that's going through a similar situation. I usually don't speak on stuff like this, but I feel like this conversation needs to be had and needs to be heard by a specific group of people that may be going through the same thing. And the conversation is surrounding like the backlash that you get when people find out you're a tarot reader or you're a spiritualist or you're more so spiritual than you are Christian, and all the backlash that you get from people who don't understand it. And this conversation is coming up because I received recently backlash surrounding somebody calling me a witch. Somebody literally called me a witch because of the tarot readings that I do. And this conversation is important because it's statements like that make people who are just as powerful as I am go into hiding, bro. A lot of the times these statements come from family, come from people that you care about the most, who don't actually understand what it is that you're doing. Because, and I'm gonna just speak for myself. For me, I got into spirituality and tarot when I was during one of the worst seasons of my life. I got into tarot when I was on the verge of damn near losing my fucking mind. I was on the verge of literally losing my mind, bro. I was going through a bad breakup. My family was going through it. I had just lost my job. This was in the midst of 2020. This was in the midst, the peak of 2020, when everybody had to be quarantined and working from home. Yeah. I was in the process of trying to figure out who the fuck I was. Suicidal. I got into tarot because it was one of the few forms or sense of community that I had that felt most authentic to who I was at the time and what I was going through. It was one of the only few places that I had that actually gave me language that felt authentic to who I was. Not to mention, at first it was just me listening to it. But as time went on, I actually gave myself permission to get into tarot myself because I had gone through such a terrible traumatic season that at one point I was fucking mute. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't think what I had to say had any value. And funny enough, this was one of the few places that I had to actually help me get in tune with myself again, to help me practice having a relationship with my intuition, to help me to actually feel more confident in my voice, more confident in my speaking, to help me to understand the spiritual gifts that I have. And ultimately, this was one of the things that actually led me back to God. I'm bringing this up because for a lot of people who do have spiritual gifts, who do have power and do have a voice that needs to be heard, there are people in different situations that are set in place to judge or ridicule what it is that you do. And let me be very clear, her calling me a witch, that ain't even nothing to like ridicule me. That don't fucking scare me, bro. That ain't even an insult to me. It's really not. It's actually an indication of my power and how powerful I actually am. So it's not even about that. It just brings up the subject of what people do. This is like what she did just triggered a memory in me of when I had authority figures in my life that did the same thing. That made me feel like what I'm doing right now is wrong. It's not right. This is what's going to send me to hell. And let me be very clear. You need to be very mindful of these types of people planted in your life, because when you aren't in a stable place where you know who you are and you're confident in the gifts that you have, people saying little slick shit like that can trump your ability to stand on your beliefs. Like I said, like little stuff like that is what trigger people to go into hiding. No, we still need your voice, baby. Nah, you need to bring that back out. And I'm saying this to say because I've had people in my past that said things like, what you're doing is bad, what you're doing is evil. And when I was still trying to figure out what this is for myself, little slick comments like that was powerful enough to make me just take a step back, not do it, hide this part of myself. But I'm coming up into a season of my life where I'm starting to understand what my gifts and what my power is for myself. So it's harder for people to come try to trump me. try to little girl me, try to scare me out of position when it comes to my voice. Let me be very clear too. This tarot, what I'm doing right now, this is just an extension of my gift. I am not just a tarot reader. I got into tarot because it was during a season of my life where I was just trying to express my gifts. I was getting so in tune with God and so in tune with my spirituality that I was just looking for outlets to express that. And tarot just so happened to be a lane of my own that felt most authentic to express my gifts. And then it turned into writing, and then it turned into painting, and then it turned into singing, and then it turned into prophesying. This is my journey on what it looks like. But there are people in your life that will try to belittle that, and it's because when people don't understand when people don't even understand what it is that you're doing, the first instinct they have is to judge. And it's funny how most of the time it's a lot of these Christians, these holier than thou people. You have no fucking idea who I am and the journey that people go through and the different ways that God can utilize even this. It's real funny how the judgmental people are with their nose up looking at you like, oh, that's demonic, that's this, that's that. Yo, if you were to sit down with some of these people and ask them straight up, yo, what is tarot? What is it? Tell me what it does for you. Tell me your true understanding of what you believe tarot to be. Because for a lot of these people, they have preconceived notions based off of what the church told them or what they see on TV or what they think it is. These people don't even know what the fuck this does to people. These people don't know that there are actually divine light and higher ways of channeling this. These people don't know that this is just a tool. This is just one way that people express themselves. And for a lot of people, this is just one outlet. For a lot of people, this is just the beginning stages of people utilizing their gift to prophesy. This is just one way for people to express their spiritual gifts. But these people, they don't understand that. If you were to literally sit down with some of these people and ask them, yo, what is this? They don't even fucking know. And I'm getting emotional about it because for a really long time, like, I had to sit with this and fight my damn self to figure out if tarot is actually for me, if doing this is actually for me, because there's a real part of me that feels like this side of me needs to be protected. This side of me, I don't need to explain it, but there are real people who go through this who are called and meant to like prophesy, who are silenced because they're ridiculed about it from people who don't even understand what the fuck they're doing. So yeah, this is an important conversation to have. And the funny thing about her calling me a witch is that within itself is a projection. I was being called a witch by somebody who was actually implementing witch-like behavior. Yeah. It's real interesting how people try to demonize what a witch is, when, to be very clear to you, the whole like idea of what it means to be a witch, there's a dark connotation associated with that. And there are dark witches, there are witches of white light and divine beings. I'm not like, don't try to put no label on me, bro. Don't put no label on me. I'm powerful. I am that I am. Period. And I usually don't even come on here making videos like that because I just don't give myself an opportunity to pop my shit. But let me be very clear. Like, I do this shit for real. I've gone through the depths of my hell to be able to even feel confident enough to come on here and prophesy the words that I do, to channel my messages, to have downloads. And I'm more sensitive enough to acknowledge the darkness that lies within me. And let me be very clear, bro, like light work, to be a true light worker, you gotta have some darkness associated with you. I've sat with my shadow. I've sat with the darkness and the hell that I've gone through. And I was sitting in a dark season of my life where I damn near fucking drowned, and utilized this is one of the tools to help me get more in tune with my intuition and my spiritual side, to pull myself out of that. So the fact that I've never weaponized this. I'm not sitting around somewhere conjuring up spirits to send out to people, and I'm sitting around like doing seances and shit. I've never done that. But can I say the same about you though? Because witchcraft is more than just oil, bubble, no, witchcraft is you putting your mouth on somebody. Witchcraft is you going around with judgment and projecting negativity. Witchcraft is you talking ill about someone. There's more than one form of witchcraft. And that's very fucking dark. And I've sat with my shadow long enough to not be afraid of somebody trying to shine a fucking light on what they perceive to be negative and dark. I'm willing to actually sit with my shadow if you bring that shit to the light. Are you? I'm clear why I'm here. How about you? Because see, I've sat with my shadow, right? I've sat with the darkness. I know the parts of me that are dark. Do you? And this is very important. This is a very important message to have, collective, because at the end of the day, like, can't nobody scare you out of your fucking position if you have sat with yourself long enough to know who you really are and what your voice is. I don't usually come on here popping this type of noise, popping this type of shit, but this needs to be said. I am coming into a place of actually being at one with my power, being at one with my gift, and understanding what that is for myself. I don't need to explain shit to anybody. But there are other people out there who have experienced this, and their negativity has trumped your light. And you need to get very clear on who you are and whose you are. Because the God that I worship, he doesn't dwell in negativity. He doesn't dwell in judgment. But these people are. And it's funny how these Christian people, these holier than thou people, are sitting around talking about, oh, you're a witch, you're this, you're that. Yo, the concept of being a witch, especially a dark witch, like the witches that they try to portray to be, the negative witch, the this, the that, the dark worker, that's actually doing some negative shit, them bitches fold in the light. They thrive in darkness. Excuse my language. I hate to even keep bringing it up, but like, yo, these type of people, they fold when the light shines. So let's go shadow for shadow, bro. Let's see who can stand the light the longest. And the light within itself is the truth. So let's go shadow for shadow. I don't mind my shadow coming to the surface and you trying to shine the light on it. I don't mind coming to the forefront and actually speaking my truth. I don't mind you trying to expose my truth, because there ain't nothing you can say that I haven't already sat with on my own. So let's go shadow for shadow. Because the dark witch that you're doing, that you think you can hide, yo, those type of witches fold in the light. So let's go shadow for shadow. Let's see who can really stand the truth the longest. I can guarantee you the shadow work that we do trumps the shadow that you try to hide. Like, don't fucking play with me, bro. Come on now. Don't play with me.